Hey everybody, it's Jeremy here, the Maine Machinist, and I am back on YouTube after about a year. You might wonder what the heck happened to this guy in the last year. Well, I've been building a brand new shop. So expanded out of my small attached garage shop into a much more commercial style building. Not a massive one, but within everything that I could afford at this time. So today, I wanted to do a video on my Atlas Craftsman 12 spindle bearings that I'm going to replace and just talk about a little bit of stuff that I found out when I tore mine down. If you follow me on any of the forums online, I am on the Facebook groups with the Atlas Craftsman Lathe and on the Manual Machinist page and some other pages, and I'm also occasionally on Reddit. And I posted some videos in those forums talking about some excessive noise I had in my headstock on the Atlas Craftsman 12, and also this problem that caused the trouble where the previous owner of the lathe decided to take the oil cups out of the headstock and put in Zerk fittings, and then they packed those bearings completely full of thick grease. I don't know what kind of grease it was, if it was just a cheap Walmart EP grease or what, but it literally it not only packed the bearings, but it came beyond these caps or kind of seals and blew up the entire headstock inside with grease. And I put brake clean on these, and I've run these through my ultrasonic cleaner for 45 minutes because you can't even imagine how thick that grease really was. And there's still some that I've got to get out of here. Down in these corners, there's like compacted, burnt grease. It created a tremendous amount of heat, and I was afraid that it might ruin the lathe spindle because of it. We're going to talk about my spindle here in just a second, because you can see that there was problems with heat on certain parts of it. But when they never, ever use grease on a machine tool spindle. Another place I see this a lot is on a Bridgeport knee, and on the column there's sometimes what people think are grease fittings, and they'll pack the column right full of grease, and the knee is coming up and down on the ways on that machine, and is literally just collecting dust and chips and destroying the Bridgeport. I don't know what people think, why they do that. There are some types of Zerk fittings that are made for a small needle to put oil in, and it's not a grease fitting. And if you end up hooking your grease gun onto it, you're just packing grease and destroying the machine. That's what happened here. And let's take a look real quick at the cups. If you look in here, there is some wear, and also you almost see that golden and some bluish color in there. There's damage from heat. You don't realize, or maybe some people don't realize, how much heat that would have caused these bearings to endure by packing them full of grease. These were not made for grease. It was made to be lubricated with 20 weight oil, which I think off the top of my head is an equivalent of ISO 68. But you might want to double check that. Anyhow, the heat damage, it just ruined the spindle bearings. And you see I got the cups in here. The other ones are outside. I have tried a lot of things to get them cleaned up. It's literally burnt right on. This grease just went in there and just thickened it all up and whatever. So I'm gonna replace them with these new Timken bearings. Now, before you order Timken bearings, you're gonna have to make a decision on your Atlas Craftsman 12 or 10. There are multiple grades of bearings, Timken bearings. There's what these are, which is a standard class or standard tolerance bearing. And you also have what is known as a class 3 bearing. Those would be the two most common ones that we would deal with a machine tool. Your professional grade machine tools, like a LeBlond or an old Monarch or anything like that, that has the tapered roller bearings in the headstock is going to have what they call Class 3 bearings, which are Class 3 precision. They have less TIR, and they're just going to be just a better bearing, a more accurate and precision bearing for these machine tools. Now the Atlas, I believe from all of my research and discussing this with people who know a lot better than me on some of the forums, I don't believe the Atlas ever came from the factory with a Class 3 bearing. There's no hard proof that I can find that it did. I believe that the Atlas Craftsman lathes were sent out with standard precision bearings, not the Class 3 precision bearings. And so that's what I ordered, standard bearings. And this makes sense. If you think of the design of this lathe, the limitations of the machine, I don't believe there's a need for the Class 3 precision bearings on this. It's not rigid enough. It's not heavy duty enough. It's not going to take the abuse that a large, quote unquote, true machine tool would be able to take. And so I think from all of the research I've done, they never had Class 3 bearings in them from the factory. The price difference is enormous. Whereas I paid about $250 for this right here, I would have spent triple that on Class 3 precision bearings. And I don't think I would have seen any real improvement on the actual operation of the lathe because of the limitations of the machine. So moving on from that, I might do a whole video on Class 3 versus standard precision bearings, just to talk about this in real detail with some charts and what that really means. But I'm not going to do it in the scope of this video. I just want to give you guys an overview of what I'm doing. I've got the spindle out here, and what you're going to see here is that there's obviously, this spindle has been taken apart before. It's had some issues before. There's some marks from the set screws. There's some marks from wear. There is some damage that you can see from heat. You get that gold and blue coloring again. It's not really that great. You can also see where this has been taken apart and reassembled lots of times because there's like witness mark. You could call that a witness mark of every time it was taken apart from set screws. Not a factory witness mark. You know what I'm talking about. But anyhow, I was quite surprised that when I mic'd it, it's still good. It actually didn't change the diameter where the bearing rides on the spindle. And I'm going to be able to reuse this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I clean the grease off, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through with my hands and I'm going to look, I'm going to search by feel. One of the things I learned way back when I was a teenager working in a machine shop after school was the importance of using your hands to feel for imperfections on things. And your hand will tell you a lot. I can feel burr here, I can feel changes in the diameter of the shaft. And I actually tested myself in miking this. You can tell where this spindle tapers down, and that's only tapering down, guys. I mean, we're talking thousands. Okay? You can feel that. You can feel the difference where it changes right there. You can feel it drop down. Don't discount the power of your hand as a tool in your shop. So I'm going to go over the whole spindle, and I'm going to take steel wool and some WD-40, and I'm just going to go and kind of hand polish this and make sure there's no burrs on it and all that before I reassemble. I really want to give you guys a whole view of the shop, but I really can't because it's just too cluttered now. I'm still doing conduit for the last of the machines that are coming in here to be put under power. All my three-phase stuff is still getting conduit right now. All of my single-phase stuff is basically ready to go. So the only thing I really have under power right now, because I'm waiting on my three-phase panel, is my shaper. And then the Atlas Craftsman will be the second one. But I'm going to cut out right now. We're going to switch over to the Atlas itself on a table that I've been working on it. and I'll show you guys what I'm gonna do over there. All right, and excuse some of the mess in the background. You can see my Logan over there, which is very dirty. I've got a trash can. Hey, this is a shop being built as we speak, okay? Don't bash on me too hard. Now on the headstock, see, I replaced the grease fittings that he had put in with oil cups, so I can now oil this properly with the 20 weight oil like the manual says. You can still see some of the garbage that's in here. I mean, I'm not totally finished yet cleaning this out. I cleaned the external parts of the lathe and just gave it kind of a touch-up paint. I didn't, you know, do a perfect job painting it, but I just cleaned it up and painted it and brush painted it. What I'm looking for in here is, you can see it's pretty rough. I mean, it's pretty crude. And I'm not sure if that's really typical of the Atlas Craftsman lathes, or if mine has had problems. But I think what I'm gonna do, my goal is to put the cups in the freezer. I'm just gonna leave them in overnight till tomorrow. And then I'm gonna come out here with a heat gun and just kind of heat these areas on the headstock and put the cups in. I did get some green Loctite, excuse me, and I'm just gonna put the most faintest drop of the green Loctite, which is for slip and press fits, on the cups when I put them in there, because I think there is some issue with them potentially having spun in the past. I'm not positive, but I'm gonna do that as a precaution. And hopefully this lathe will be back up and running again within the next few days, and I can start making some great videos. Because guys, I've got the milling attachment all ready to go. I've got the steady rest for this thing. I've got pretty much everything but the follower rest, which I'm looking for one right now, and when the time's right I'm going to buy it. But I've got face plates, I've got 3 and 4 jaw chucks, I've got you know, just everything. And it's going to be really fun making some videos with this little lathe. It's not really a commercial grade lathe, we know that, but I have made money when I had it in my little shop making parts for people, including I made a very small hydraulic cylinder with this lathe for a customer, and it came out really nice. They were very happy with it. So don't discount yourself and say, oh, these machines are not beefy, they're not rigid, they're not monster. Well, used within the limitations of the machine, you can make some really great parts with an Atlas Craftsman lathe, and I'm hoping to do some awesome videos for you guys very soon. It's been a whole year. Let's take a look at the shaper while I'm right here, and please forgive the mess, because there's a lot of mess in here. It's under progress. But one of the first videos I'm going to make for you guys here, hopefully within a week, because I'm going to get this area cleaned out. But I bought a quick change tool post for the Atlas Craftsman, and of course you have to make your own T-nut that fits your lathe. You know, it doesn't come with that. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the shaper to make the nut for the quick change tool post, and it's just going to be, I think, a really fun time. We'll have a cool thing. We'll be able to set it up and just use the shaper, which is going to be awesome. I love shapers. I know a lot of you guys out there too really enjoy them. So anyway, I've got my pellet stove going here. There's a lot of background noise. Didn't intend to make a really long video, but I'm really just looking forward to making some videos for you guys again. I'm hoping that you share the videos, and I know it's been a whole year, but now that my shop is completed and I'm getting more work coming in from customers and whatnot, I'm just going to be doing a lot of videos with some of the customer work that comes in here, some of the projects that come in here. I've got an air-cooled Volkswagen engine, a 40 horse on a stand right here. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff with that. The Honda Big Reds are coming in here. We're going to be doing some restoration work on those. I'm going to be doing some press videos with my Dake over there. I've got a nice lapping plate here. I'll probably do some videos of my motorcycle. There's just a lot of cool stuff that's coming down the line, and I'm gonna have a lot of fun sharing what I do here in my shop with you guys, and hopefully you will share back with me some ideas and things that you want to see so we can make some cool videos. Thanks for watching, guys. Take care of your old Atlas Craftsman lathes, and tell me what you want to see in the new shop.